The North Shore News had a quote from my debate the other night. Running a country is not like attending a masquerade ball.
Good. That's really good. Well
That's what they quoted me. I'm happy with that.
Well said.
You're so nasty. You conservative.
I know. Terrible. Why do we hate masquerades?
What do you mean? Masquerade balls are great.
You can run a country in blackface. We got one here to show.
It takes a lot of work.
Use corporation.
Think about how he's going to
Not
represent
a
us.
light thing.
Or even in the U.S.
That's why they were.
Live from New York.
Remember who signed up? Well, he was. He'll tell you. He knows. Yeah, he stayed in school. That's the right answer. I was becoming a lawyer and earning money to allow you to be. There's Rudy.
Rudy Hustley. I gotta go say hi to that guy.
That's true.
We'll pull him off.
Yeah, she's got a baby.
That's Kenzie.
Yeah.
She does everything. Oh, is that her own? Is she her own now?
Yeah, she had a baby about 3 months ago.
Oh, I didn't know. I'm so used to her looking after Andrew's kids. I didn't realize she had her own. That's Kenzie. Yeah. Kenzie Potter. She's principal secretary. What is Kenzie there? I think she was principal secretary. But they're always getting her now.
The guy.
She's been with Ivy for years.
That's a good problem.
I know it's a lot.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me here today as I unveil our platform, my plan to help you get ahead. And unlike Justin Trudeau's so-called plan, this has been fully costed by the Parliamentary Budget Officer. This is a fully costed platform with all the numbers. Now, throughout this campaign and throughout my travels, I've been constantly reminded that Canadians are truly the most fortunate people in the world. We are the keepers of a proud history. We have fought and helped to defeat forces of tyranny and helped to bring peace around the world. We are the protectors of a rich democracy, one rooted in a commitment to pluralism, personal freedom, and individual responsibility. We are the stewards of breathtaking natural beauty, from right here on the Pacific to the Arctic and to the Atlantic. I believe Canada's potential is as vast as the distance between our shores, and I believe our best days yet are still ahead. But we have to change course now. 4 years ago, Justin Trudeau came to office on a promise of sunny ways and positive politics. He spoke of his hopeful vision for the future. But it didn't take long for his professed optimism to give way to outright cynicism, for his commitment to unity to dissolve into divisiveness. The last 4 years have clearly demonstrated that Justin Trudeau is not as advertised. He said he would be accountable and ethical. Instead, he has used the power of his office to reward his supporters and punish his critics. He said he would help the middle class. Instead, he raised taxes on 80% of middle-class Canadians and imposed a carbon tax that's making everyday life more expensive. He said he would balance the budget. Instead, he's running massive deficits that threaten higher taxes and important social programs like healthcare. Under Justin Trudeau, Canadians are working harder and harder, but they're just not getting ahead. And I hear it everywhere I go. Everything is getting more and more expensive. There's less and less money left at the end of the month. Your goals are getting further out of reach, and you're falling further and further behind. But I'm here today to say that better days are coming, and that on October 21st, you'll have the chance to end Justin Trudeau's cover-ups, deficits, and tax hikes, and elect a conservative government that will finally help you get ahead. Throughout the campaign, I have announced several new ways my government will lower taxes and put more money in the pockets of Canadians. And today I want to highlight what that will mean for 3 different families many Canadians will be able to relate to. Consider the example of a retired couple living right here in Tsawwassen. Under our conservative plan, they will get $2,580 back in their pocket every year to help them get ahead. Ou l'exemple d'une famille de 4, bientôt 5, à Montréal. À la fin de l'année, un nouveau gouvernement conservateur aura remis 4 642 $ dans ses poches. Or the example of a family of 4, soon to be 5, in Montreal. A new conservative government will put $4,642 back into their pockets. And one final example, a family of 4 in Markham. Each year, this family will have $3,264 more to put towards its future. We're the only party with a plan focused on you and on your needs. We're going to start by scrapping the Trudeau Carbon Tax that is making everyday essentials more expensive for Canadian families. If Justin Trudeau is re-elected, gasoline is going to go up 31 cents a litre, while the average cost of natural gas for a Canadian household is going to increase by $469. A new Conservative government will also introduce the universal tax cut, saving a couple earning average salaries $850. We will take the GST off of home heating costs, saving your family over $100 a year. We will introduce the Green Public Transit Tax Credit, saving a family of 4 who take transit up to $1,000. We'll make maternity benefits tax-free, putting up to $4,215 back in the pockets of new parents. We will introduce the Children's Fitness Tax Credit, allowing parents to claim up to $1,000 for sports activities. We'll also introduce the Children's Arts and Learning Tax Credit, letting parents claim up to $500 for arts and learning programs. We'll expand the age credit, benefiting the lowest income Canadians the most and giving a senior couple up to $300 back. We will boost government matching to RESPs by 50%, helping parents get more for their kids' education. And we will introduce the Green Home Renovation Tax Credit, putting up to $3,800 back in the pockets of families doing their bit to fight climate change by making their homes more energy efficient. Justin Trudeau a passé sa campagne à dire aux Canadiens et aux Canadiennes que tout va bien. Et peut-être que c'est le cas dans son monde à lui. Je suis sûr que les gens qui n'ont jamais dû se préoccuper de l'argent ne s'inquiètent pas du prix de l'essence, de leur facture d'hydro ou de leur hypothèque. Mais je suis ici pour les gens qui ont besoin de souffler. Les gens qui font tout, aller à l'université, trouver un bon travail, travailler fort, payer leurs factures à temps, mais qui n'arrivent pas à améliorer leur quotidien, dont les espoirs et les rêves sont toujours plus loin. Les parents qui discutent le soir, comme les miens le faisaient souvent, dans une maison de ville dans le sud d'Ottawa, pour savoir comment ils vont tenir jusqu'à la fin du mois. Notre plateforme conservatrice est pleine de mesures concrètes qui vont aider les familles canadiennes à épargner et à planifier pour l'avenir. Et contrairement à Justin Trudeau, nous savons combien ces mesures coûtent et d'où va venir l'argent. Justin Trudeau, on the other hand, has spent this campaign telling Canadians how great everything is going. And perhaps in his world it is. I have no doubt that people who have never had to worry about money aren't concerned over the high price of gasoline or their utility bill or their mortgage rate. But I'm here for the people who just need a break. The people who are doing everything right, going to university, getting a good job, working hard, paying their bills on time, but who still can't seem to get ahead in life, whose hopes and dreams keep getting further and further away. The parents who sit around the dinner table, like mine often did in a townhouse in South Ottawa, stressing over how they will make it to the end of the month. Our Conservative platform is full of real, concrete measures that will help Canadian families save and plan for the future. And unlike Justin Trudeau, we know how much it will cost and where the money is going to come from. Our platform has been verified by Dr. Jack Mintz, President's Fellow at the University of Calgary School of Public Policy, who says this fiscal plan is reasonably estimated, resulting in a budgetary balance in 5 years. Our goal this election is clear: a new Conservative government that empowers Canadians to build a brighter future. This in itself is a worthy goal, but ultimately it's part of a larger vision. Canada's success depends on Canadians' success. And Justin Trudeau's small, petty vision of Canada, of region against region, province against province, and Canadian against Canadian, is unworthy of this great country. We will return to the optimism and vision of Canada's greatest leaders, dreamers like Sir John A. Macdonald, unifiers like Sir Wilfrid Laurier, and builders like John Diefenbaker. Un nouveau gouvernement conservateur va rassembler notre pays d'un océan à l'autre pour réussir quelque chose de grand. Un pays prospère qui offre des possibilités à ceux qui les recherchent. Un pays pacifique qui laisse les gens prier, penser et parler librement. Un pays plus fort et plus uni, digne de ceux qui sont venus avant nous et qui méritent nos enfants et petits-enfants. En tant que Canadiens et Canadiennes, nous devons commencer à voir grand et nous devons le faire ensemble. Le potentiel de notre pays est illimité. Nous avons tout pour réussir. Il nous faut un gouvernement qui nous permette de le faire, pas un gouvernement qui nous écrase. This election is about the future of your family and the future of our country. A new Conservative government will bring our country together from coast to coast in pursuit of something bigger than ourselves. A prosperous country that offers opportunity to all who seek it. A peaceful country that allows people to worship, think, and speak freely. A stronger, more united country, worthy of those who came before us and that our children and grandchildren deserve. As Canadians, I want us to start dreaming big again. I want us to start dreaming together. We can be a country of yes again. Yes to big ideas. Yes to big projects that create prosperity and bring our country closer together. Our country's potential truly is boundless. We have everything we need to succeed. What we need is a government that empowers us, not diminishes us. This election is about the future of your family and the future of our country. And the choice is between a Justin Trudeau-led government that divides Canadians for short-term political gains and a new Conservative government that brings Canadians together. The choice between a Justin Trudeau-led government that favors its well-connected friends and a new conservative government that works for all Canadians. The choice between a Justin Trudeau-led government that cuts deals for the millionaires who run billion-dollar companies and gives massive exemptions to the largest emitters, and a new conservative government that puts everyday Canadians first. The choice between a Justin Trudeau-led government that makes life more expensive and a new conservative government that will make life more affordable. C'est le moment, chers amis. C'est le moment de tourner la page sur 4 ans de négativité et fausses promesses. Et tant que Canadiens et Canadiennes, nous devons regarder vers l'avenir avec confiance et optimisme. C'est le temps de nouveau gouvernement conservateur qui va vivre selon ses moyens et mettre plus d'argent dans vos poches pour que vous et votre famille et le Canada puissiez améliorer votre quotidien. So the time has come, my friends. It's time to turn the page on 4 years of negativity and broken promises. As Canadians, it's time for us to look to the future once again with confidence and optimism. It's time for a new conservative government that will live within its means, put more money in your pockets, so you and your family, and ultimately Canada, can get ahead. Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much. Happy to take your questions.
Hello, Mr. Scheer. My name is Annie Bergeron-Oliver, and I'm with CTV National News. Economists are predicting a growth in the economy beginning in 2020, and many are concerned about a recession in the coming few years. Your plan to balance in 2024 does rely on reduced interest payments to help get you to balance, especially in the last few years. Do you believe that there is enough buffer built in, and what happens if you don't form a second majority government?
Well, absolutely, I do believe there's enough buffer built in. This is a responsible plan with prudent framework, and you hit the nail on the head. We believe that it's much better to have Canadians' tax dollars going into better services or freeing up space for the government to cut taxes than to be paying interest on the debt. And under the Liberal plan, more and more of your tax dollars going to pay just interest on the debt. Their plan doesn't give us any flexibility if we do head into a difficult situation. Ours does. Oui, alors notre plan est un plan prudent et responsable, et c'est mieux d'avoir l'argent des contribuables aller aux meilleurs services ou pour les baisses d'impôts que de payer les intérêts sur la dette à les banques. Alors ça, c'est un plan prudent et responsable. Et avec le plan libéral, qui n'ont pas des chiffres, on n'a aucune flexibilité s'il y a une période économique difficile dans l'avenir.
On a separate subject, your party is proposing $50 million over 5 years to a national strategy on autism. I'm wondering if you can go into a bit more detail about what this would include and what types of new treatments might be available for people who do have autism.
Well, this is about developing that exact strategy and bringing experts together, as well as those responsible for provincial health departments, to develop strategies for enhanced care, for best practices, and things of that nature. So this is a way the government can play a leadership role in bringing all of those stakeholders together, parents as well, to determine the best way forward to make sure that children with autism have the very best care and have the best possibility to maximize their potential and to get the help they need.
Bonjour, M. Scheer, Philippe Vincent Foisy de Radio-Canada. Sur Netflix, vous décidez d'imposer le 3%. Par contre, il n'y a pas de taxe de vente. Un des arguments que vous avez dit dans le passé, c'était que ça prenait de l'équité fiscale. Là, Netflix et les plateformes n'auront toujours pas de TPS, tandis que les Canadiens, les plateformes canadiennes, elles, vont devoir encore collecter la TPS.
Alors, j'ai dit en passé que c'est le temps pour avoir une revue de notre système de taxes. C'est clair que plus en plus des échanges sont sur les plateformes numériques. Il y a beaucoup des inquiétudes dans notre économie à ce moment. Alors, c'est l'intention de notre gouvernement de regarder cet aspect-là. Mais aujourd'hui, on parle de taxer les géants de web pour assurer qu'ils payent leur part. S'ils ramassent les milliards de dollars de l'économie du Canada, il faut qu'ils payent leur part.
À quel point le choix est clair sur l'équilibre budgétaire? Parce que vous avez parlé du choix tantôt. Vous voulez dire aux Canadiens, il y a un choix entre des déficits et un choix entre la rigueur et donc un équilibre en 5 ans. C'est ça le choix?
Ça, c'est la responsabilité. Ça, c'est un plan responsable. On va protéger les services publics. On va continuer d'augmenter. Et je sais qu'aujourd'hui, les libéraux vont essayer de créer la peur. on va maintenir l'investissement, les augmentations pour les services, pour la santé et pour l'éducation, les programmes sociaux comme ça. C'est essentiel quand on a un gouvernement qui arrête d'emprunter l'argent des contribuables et de leurs futurs contribuables et paye plus en plus d'argent pour l'intérêt sur la dette. Avec le plan de Justin Trudeau, on va jamais équilibrer le budget. On va emprunter année après année après année. Ça, c'est inconcevable, ça c'est irresponsable. Il n'y a aucune personne au Canada, il n'y a aucune famille qui pense que ça c'est une façon de vivre pour leur propre famille ou pour leur propre entreprise. On doit avoir la responsabilité pour le gouvernement. Ça c'est un choix très très clair. Aucun équilibre budgétaire avec les libéraux, un plan responsable avec les conservateurs.
Hi, Mr. Scheer. Melanie Woods, HuffPost Canada. In the platform, in your leadership platform, you talk about restricting grant funding to universities that don't commit to free speech policies. And we've seen the Chicago principles adopted by provincial governments in Alberta and Ontario. How will universities, pass the test at the federal level?
Well, thank you very much for the question. I'm very proud of that aspect in our platform. There are threats to free speech all over the world and in here at home as well. And that is why we will have a regime put in place that prioritizes federal spending, federal grant contributions to universities that have taken concrete measures to protect free speech on campus. There are a number of different models that we are looking at. This will be done in conjunction with university officials. I've already started some of those consultations as Leader of the Opposition. We'll continue those as government and ensure that students have the knowledge and the confidence that free speech is protected on campus.
And kind of as a follow-up, I know a lot of the kind of criticism of policies like the Chicago Principles has been around human rights legislation, existing human rights legislation. For example, in BC, LGBTQ folks are protected against harassment and discrimination on campuses. So would banning a anti-trans speaker from campus, for example, put a university at risk for funding?
As I said, the goal of this program is to ensure that legitimate debate can be held. We've seen phenomena all over the world where people are not able to speak, where events have been canceled, not because they violate any particular code of conduct or a university policy, but just simply because people protested and then there are concerns raised about security and things like that. So the goal here is to protect robust discussion, robust debate, and of course universities have the right and the obligation to ensure that students can take their studies in security and without fear of harassment. But we also have to make sure that, especially on university campuses, which were founded to have those challenging ideas challenged and robust debate, that can continue in Canada.
Hi, Mr. Scheer. David Cochran with CBC News. You've got about $49 billion in tax cuts and spending over 5 years in this plan, and to pay for that and get rid of the deficits, about $67 billion in cuts in new revenue and delayed infrastructure spending. What do you say to the people who look at the $53 billion in infrastructure delays and cuts and say you can't do this without slashing programs and cutting jobs?
Well, because we've shown exactly where the money's come from. We are committed to increasing the transfer payments for health, education and social programs. That is a guarantee that is costed and is outlined in this platform. We've said where we're going to get the money from. We're going to get it from corporate welfare. We're going to get it from foreign aid from countries, relatively well-off countries that don't need Canadian taxpayers' dollars. We're also going to eliminate things like March Madness, where government departments spend hundreds of millions of dollars in the dying days of the fiscal year. We're going to make sure that government real estate is allocated responsibly so that the government isn't wasting money with empty office space all over the country. We're going to protect core services while we make government more efficient. Liberals measure success in government by how much money they spend. Conservatives measure success in government by actually getting results. And it's essential that we do this because the choice is clear. If we do not get back to a responsible plan for treating Canadian taxpayers' dollars wisely, we will see those massive deficits threaten social programs and lead to massive tax hikes. This is the time that we can get back on track and avoid the Kathleen Wynne disastrous situation that Ontarians know all too well and that Canadians across the country have seen.
In your Yeah, in French,
Oui.
please.
Alors, nous avons déjà montré où on va épargner l'argent. On va couper les subventions corporatives. On va éliminer 25% des aides étrangères. Et on va éliminer les choses comme March Madness, où les départements fédéraux dépensent les millions de dollars, les centaines de millions de dollars, et les édifices vides et les choses comme ça. On va protéger l'investissement pour la santé et l'éducation. Mais c'est essentiel qu'on a un plan responsable pour arrêter les grands déficits année par année par année. Ça, c'est irresponsable. Et cette chemin vont toujours la même direction, la même termination avec les systèmes sociaux, les services sociaux menacés et les augmentations des taxes.
And Mr. Scheer, starting next year, right away, you're going to start pushing off billions of infrastructure spending into the future to help you balance the budget. But a lot of that infrastructure money would be tied up in programs where there are agreements with provinces or with municipalities on multi-year funding going forward. So how do you expect them to respond to this sudden jolt of cash moving out of the next 5 fiscal years?
I obviously reject the description of that. What we know and what the parliamentary budget officer has said is that the Liberal government has no plan when it comes to infrastructure. Most years they lapse up to 40% of the money that was earmarked. Projects aren't getting built. And so what we're saying is we're going to send the same amount of money, and we're going to do it in a responsible way. We're going to respect all existing agreements for projects that have already been signed off on. We're going to see those through, and we're going to put in place a responsible plan that actually gets money out the door and shovels in the ground. And that is clearly not what is happening. And the Liberals, again, will try to create fear and division over something that is simply not true. This is their infrastructure plan has been a disaster. It has been widely condemned by fiscal experts and by municipal experts who are saying that it's not leading to the increased economic activity and the increased projects. So we're going to keep the total amount of spending over a responsible period of time so we stop borrowing billions and billions of dollars from taxpayers. Oui. Alors, on va garantir tous les projets qui sont déjà commencés, qui a déjà eu une entente entre les différents niveaux du gouvernement, et on va dépenser le même montant d'argent dans une manière plus responsable. Et le directeur parlementaire budgétaire a dit que le plan libéral n'existe pas. Et chaque année, le gouvernement laisse à peu près 40% d'argent sur la table, pas pour les projets, pas pour commencer les projets. Alors, avec ce plan, les municipalités, les maires peuvent avoir confiance qu'ils peuvent continuer de faire les investissements dans les grands projets et on va assurer qu'on arrête la pratique d'emprunter les milliards de dollars des contribuables. I should just mention on that, on the question of existing projects, we have made specific commitments that we're already getting tremendous feedback from not just municipal leaders, but also people who live in communities, like the Massey Tunnel replacement here in BC, and like the expansion to the Ontario and Yonge Line in Toronto. So it's quite clear that with us, with the Conservative Party, you actually get big projects going. You don't just get what the Liberals say, which are false promises without the shovels in the ground.
Ian Bailey, Globe and Mail. I wonder if you could circle back to infrastructure. Given all the infrastructure needs, especially here in the Lower Mainland, why spend less? Why spend $18 billion
It's not about
less over 5 years?
It's not about spending less. The total amount of spending continues at the same overall level. And we have to keep in mind, these are at record high levels. The previous Conservative government spent billions of dollars increased spending on infrastructure to get these important projects built, and our plan maintains that overall budget amount. So again, the Liberals are going to try to say things that just aren't true, and I will take no lessons from a party that hasn't even costed their own platform. They're now going to try to cost our platform when they can't even provide costing for their platform. So I'm not going to listen to anything that they're going to be saying today on our numbers.
And a follow-up on that, I mean, the promises of not being costly for some of these projects, so how will they get built while overall funding is kind of cut? Isn't there some uncertainty there?
Well, again, I reject the premise. This is an overall budget envelope that will continue to be maintained. The overall Dollar amount is the exact same. There's no reduction in the overall dollar amount. What we're saying is that we are going to make sure that projects actually get built, and that's what the Liberal government has failed to do. The Parliamentary Budget Office said their plan didn't exist, that the projects aren't getting built, the money's not getting out the door. So we're going to make sure the money that does get that actually goes out the door and gets these projects built.
Thank you very much.
Oui. Alors, le directeur parlementaire budgétaire a dit qu'il n'y a aucun plan, que les projets ne commencent pas et qu'il n'y a aucun bénéfice économique avec le plan libéral, pas un vrai bénéfice économique avec le plan libéral. Notre plan va actuellement réaliser les grands projets pour aider pour améliorer la qualité de vie pour les gens dans les communautés partout au Canada.
Good afternoon, Mr. Scheer. Andrew Lawton from True North. So your plan calls for balanced budget legislation, which seems to be based on the premise that a government can every year balance the budget barring unforeseen circumstances. Why then commit future governments to something that you're not prepared to do for 5 years?
Well, we have a lot of work to do to clean up the Liberal mess, and we want to do it in a way that can allow existing core services to be strengthened. We're going to increase those investments in healthcare, education, and social programs by at least 3% every year, while controlling the growth of government spending in other areas, and by eliminating wasteful practices like March Madness, the government hiring outside consultants, spending hundreds of millions of dollars on outside consultants when they have expert public servants who could do the job within the federal departments, and of course by ensuring that government real estate is managed much more efficiently.
And on the note of immigration, how are you going to, under a Conservative government, deal with the tens of thousands of asylum seekers that have already come in illegally who are denied their claims and thus not eligible to stay?
Mm-hmm. Well, just this week I made an announcement at Roxham Road where we've seen tens of thousands of people cross into Canada illegally, and I made the announcement that we would close the loophole in the Safe Third Country Agreement. We would also increase resources for our border service agents so that they can carry out judicial decisions and decisions by those who are hearing those applications, and by increasing the number of judges who are hearing the cases in the first place.
Mr. Scheer, this is Manpreet, and I'm from Red FM. Now, as you know, there are less than 9 days left in the elections, and we are already on 11th of this, we are already in the advanced polling stage. Don't you think you're too late to announce your platform? And my question is it a part of your strategy, or was it because of the pressure from your federal opponents who've been often asking you've been delaying it?
Not at all. This was always the day that we had decided we would unveil our platform. And quite frankly, it was because we had so many good things to announce throughout this campaign. Even just yesterday, we announced further measures for helping those who are adopting children. Even though it was the day before the advanced polls, we still had great policies to announce. In fact, there's some policies in this platform that because we have so many great ideas, we weren't able to get them all out before the platform launched, but I'll be highlighting them next week.
Thank you.
Andy Blatchford, Canadian Press. Mr. Scheer, I was wondering which specific economic data points will tell you that your overall plan is working? For example, what are your targets for employment numbers, wages, GDP growth?
Mm-hmm. Well, we're going to be looking at all of those things. As we implement this plan, we know that Canadians' purchasing power will increase when they have more money put in their pockets. We can expect a GDP growth as a result of these measures. More money in people's pockets means more money at their disposal to invest in their homes, to invest in their children, to basically spend as they see fit. And that's the biggest difference between Liberals and Conservatives. Conservatives believe that the dollar left in the hands of the hardworking taxpayer who earned it is always better spent than in the hands of the politician who taxed it. So of course we'll be looking at things like GDP growth and employment numbers, and we believe that this is a much more responsible plan than endless deficits. Endless deficits that mean higher taxes. And when taxes go up to pay interest on debt, that is not good for the economy.
En français aussi.
Oui, alors on va regarder tous les chiffres comme le GDP et les taux des emplois. Et nous sommes confiants que quand on laisse l'argent dans les poches des Canadiens, ça c'est mieux pour l'économie que quand le gouvernement doit augmenter les impôts pour payer l'intérêt sur la dette.
I had a question for you about the cyberbullying element of your plan. Would it enable people to sue parents and guardians of cyberbullies, and how effective would this really be?
Well, as a father of 5 kids, I think we can all agree that we're entering into a new territory when it comes to how our children interact with each other. And I know I've spoken to parents whose children have had to switch schools because of bullying, and a lot of it is happening online now. So what this measure is about starting the work to create a framework to protect kids and to give parents the tools they need, and to have some accountability for when tragedies happen, and when children are forced to change schools or go through mental illness or anxiety because of the treatment that they've had online. This is about starting the work to create a framework around that to protect kids and give parents the tools they need.
En français aussi?
Alors, on va commencer. Comme une père de 5 enfants, j'ai mes propres inquiétudes avec les plateformes sociaux, et j'ai parlé avec les autres parents qui a des enfants qui a dû changer l'école parce que elle était le victime de le cyberbullying. Alors, cette idée, c'est de commencer le travail pour créer une régie autour, on peut protéger les enfants et donner les outils aux parents.
Hi, Mr. Scheer. This is Shelley Hagan with Bloomberg News. What would you do if the global economy slows down sharply? Would you abandon the balanced budget?
The concerns that many are raising about the potential global downturn is precisely why we have to get back on track now. Justin Trudeau has spent our way out of having any type of flexibility if there is a downturn. Those massive deficits are weighing down our economy. It means more and more money has to be taken out of the economy through either borrowing by the government, which takes money out of the economy, or by paying higher interest payments on the debt, which is just going to banks and bondholders. It's precisely because there are some signs of possible headwinds that we need to get back on track. We need to turn the ship away from the rocky shoals and back out to clear waters, and that's exactly what this plan does. Oui, alors c'est clair que les grands déficits vont nuire la capacité de l'économie du Canada d'être capable de gérer les conséquences d'une récession potentielle. C'est la raison pour laquelle on doit régler les grands déficits. Et notre plan est un plan responsable qui arrête d'emprunter l'argent de l'économie et arrête de réduire le montant que le gouvernement doit payer pour l'intérêt sur the debt. Money spent on interest on the debt is wasted money. It is going to banks and bondholders. That money could be going into better services or into tax cuts. And that is the difference. That is the clear choice here. Canadians can now see an irresponsible Liberal plan that will run massive deficits for years and years and years. And we all know what happens when that is allowed to continue. It means threatened public services. It means higher taxes. It means life getting more and more expensive, and Canadians will fall further and further behind. Or they can choose the Conservative plan, which protects core services and increases investments in healthcare, education, and social programs, but gets back to balanced budgets so we can stop wasting taxpayers' money on interest charges on the debt.
And regarding the plan to eliminate the tax gap, if it is feasible, why hasn't it been done yet?
Well, it takes a government that has the purpose of mind to do it. This Liberal government spent their past 4 years going after small business owners, calling them tax cheats, all the while protecting those who have offshore accounts and things of that nature. So they made their choice. They thought that the local pizza shop owner, and the local mechanic were cheating on their taxes. We believed that they were creating jobs and opportunities in their community. So we're going to go after those who are not paying their fair share of taxes, eliminating the tax gap while lowering taxes on our job creators and people who create businesses in our local communities.
Martin McMahon with News 1130. About $14.5 billion of these cuts for 5 years falls under the category of operating expenses, other operating expenses reductions. Could you just expand a little bit on what that means?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes. So I'll give you one example. Recently, we filed a request for information from the government on what's known in Ottawa as March Madness. And that is when government departments, if they have leftover money, instead of returning it back to the taxpayer and leaving it there for future years, blow it all at the end of the fiscal year. And we asked the government how much money was spent, what were the types of items that were purchased in that period of time. And the response came back, and it was hundreds and hundreds of pages of examples. So March Madness is one. We're going to put an end to that practice. We're going to stop the practice, or at least target the practice, of outside consultants being brought into departments at exorbitant rates when we have expertise within the public service. This is something that public service unions have actually flagged, where you have people with expertise within a department available to do the types of works that outside consultants are paid to come in and do. And we're going to rationalize federal real estate. We have so many office buildings all throughout the country that are not being fully maximized, not utilized properly, which means that we're paying far more for real estate than we would otherwise need to. So those are the examples that we're using to show that we can protect core services and protect employment levels within the public service, but stop the practice of blowing money out the door in the last few days of the fiscal year. Alors, on va éliminer le phénomène qui était appelé le March Madness, où les départements fédéraux dépensent beaucoup d'argent dans les derniers jours de l'année fiscale. On va éliminer, réduire la pratique pour les consultants qui viennent dans un département et qui chargent des dépenses énormes quand on a des fonctionnaires avec l'expérience et la capacité de faire la même chose. Et on va rationaliser les édifices fédéraux.
The word recession has been seemingly absent from this campaign from all the parties, but your platform does mention that word. And yet, as one of my colleagues pointed out, there does seem to be this sort of self-handcuffing on the idea of not being willing to run deficits during times of economic difficulty. So in one sense, your party seems to be the lone one to sort of appreciate the clouds on the horizon, and yet you're also handcuffing yourself with this plan of we will not run deficits under any circumstances. And as you know, I don't think anyone would question Stephen Harper's credentials, but during times of real economic turmoil, he did run deficits. So for some people, certainly economists watching this, they're probably going to look at it and wonder if there's a bit of a contradiction here. What would you say to people who would point out that?
Well, first of all, we're going to take steps within this platform and within our mandate that will strengthen Canada's economic activity. Under Justin Trudeau's government, we've seen tens of billions of dollars of foreign direct investment leave Canada. The investors have pulled money out of Canada because we can't get big things built in this country. So by getting big energy projects back on track, by implementing a national energy corridor, we're going to see a great deal of economic activity linked to that. Leaving money in the pockets of Canadians, helping them get ahead also helps the economy. When they're able to spend money on the things that are important to them, that creates economic growth much better than when the government is spending money for them. And again, getting back to balanced budgets gives us more flexibility. Reducing the amount of money that we spend on interest charges frees that up precisely for if there are headwinds in front of us. And, the Liberals have to explain to Canadians, if they spend money quickly when times are tough and they spend money quickly when times are good, when do they ever get back to balanced budgets? When do we ever get to the point where we stop spending money on those interest charges? The answer with the Liberals is never, and the answer with us is in a responsible period of time, 5 years, getting back to balanced budgets, protecting core services, and lowering taxes, putting money back in the pockets of Canadians all along the way.
Will there be any exemption in any scenario where a government can run a deficit under your legislation?
Well, with our legislation, we will ensure that government has to find the money for new types of programs. If they are going to, embark on new spending initiatives, they have to find the money for that. That is how Canadian families live their lives. That is how Canadian businesses live their lives. And it's time that we had some fiscal responsibility at the federal level as well. Thanks very much, everyone. Thanks.